Well, hello everybody, Shelly here. Yes, I look different because I don't have a face full of stuff on today, but I thought I would try something a little bit different in the vein of either working from home or maybe getting back into work and you want something like fast and easy and simple. So recently I was contacted on Instagram. It said, hey, if you try some of our products and post, we'll give you a referral code or an affiliate link or a whatever. So I went, okay, I'll try it. It's a brand I'd never heard of. So Instagram made me buy it, I guess, but I ordered these 4 little items and it's basically, I got 2 different eyeshadows, a foundation, and an eyeliner. I paid, I think for all 4 items, I paid 40 bucks with shipping and whatever else. Didn't realize they were coming from China, if you can read that or not. Looks like Phoera. Yeah. So it looks like you can get some of the foundation on Amazon, Walmart, significantly cheaper. But I do have a referral code in the description box if you're at all interested. I got the eyeliner in last week. It says it's a 12-hour eyeliner, and I think this is in the color black. And I thought, you know what? A gel eyeliner, how bad can it be? And it looks okay, you know, I mean, it's coming in pretty good. I think I tried it one time and I was like, what? Why does this seem waxy? But I think it was on the tip, and once I got that off, it seems to be a lot better. So we're gonna try that again today. And then I also got the foundation. This is a soft matte long wear liquid foundation. It says coverage foundation, naturally flawless, oil controlling, lightweight free. It's a full coverage foundation, which I normally don't use. And I got this in shade 104 Buff Beige. I tried it yesterday and I was like, wait, what? So I thought, oh, okay. And then I got 2 different eyeshadows. One of them, they're both, I think, more of a, it says Ultra Metallic eyeshadow. One of them is in the shade 1110 Olive, which is the one that I used yesterday. And then this one is in the shade 114 Mystery. So I thought what you try to do is between this and maybe just this Naked, Urban Decay Naked Flesh palette, we're gonna come up with 3 looks. So if you're at all interested in how can a lady of a certain age who's not a makeup artist basically come up with 3 different looks with a couple eyeshadows and a face palette that looks like that, stick around, let's get into the video. I'm gonna actually go in with a little bit of this Iconic Illuminator to start with, because in just a little bit, because I think a little bit goes a long way with this, but I think it brings a nice glow to the face. If I'm doing a matte foundation, I like a little glow underneath, especially since my skin tends to be on a little dry side. I did use a little face oil today, a little Kiehl's Daily Oil. So we're gonna just kind of give this a shake. And then because it's a full coverage matte, I'm gonna actually use a damp beauty blender today. I've got 3 pumps on here. I suspect this is too much. I didn't mean to put it on my hand. I was gonna put it on the back of my hand, but we're just gonna get a little bit loaded up here on a damp beauty blender. I think this actual beauty sponge is from ColourPop. I think that's where I got this one. Okay, can you see how much that is just completely toned down my skin? And I still have a lot of foundation left in my hand, so I'm just kind of bouncing it on there, and I think it did a really good job of sort of evening out the skin tone. I do need some contouring going on. I still have a lot, so I'm just gonna wipe this off my hand. I didn't mean to put it right on my fingers. That was kind of dumb. Initial reaction of this is it feels nice and moisturized on my skin. I think the color is okay, actually, for a base layer. I mean, I know I'm gonna warm it up as soon as I start putting on bronzer and some other products, but I think for a base layer, it's actually kind of good. I do notice a little texture coming through. So I'm going to grab this e.l.f. Poreless, what is this? Yeah, Poreless Putty Primer. And I'm just going to tap a little bit on. Now, I already have my foundation on, so I'm just going to kind of go over just the top of it. Just to kind of backfill a little bit. After a little bit of the Poreless Putty Primer on, I'm just going to take what's left on my sponge and kind of just go over the top of it. And I think the coverage actually is good. It doesn't feel tight on my skin like some mattes. I'm gonna put on some brows really quick. I'm trying to think if I wanna do a primer or not. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put a little bit of, I've got the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer here. I'm gonna put a little bit of that on. This is a little waxier than, say, the MAC Painterly Pot. But one of the things I really like about it is that it gets me a good full coverage, which covers up some of that discoloration. And it's very inexpensive. Okay, so you guys, you're probably wondering why I even decided to try this. And, you know, again, they reached out to me and I thought, well, you know what? It's a brand I've never heard of. I'm gonna try it. Who knows? Maybe it's a sleeper. I had a little bit of buyer's remorse because I bought it and it was coming from China, which I'm trying not to do. Okay, I'm gonna go in with just the bronzer in this Urban Decay Naked Flushed palette because I just want to kind of do a little bit of bronzing right here. I was having a little bit of buyer's remorse once I realized it was coming from China, and then it never shut up. It was like 5 weeks that I finally got an eyeliner, and then it was another week, so 6 weeks before I got the rest of it. And I'm like, okay, I just ordered 4 products. It's not like I ordered a ton of stuff and it took a long time to get in. And I've ordered other things from China. It just hasn't taken that long, so I don't know why it took as long as it did. Maybe coronavirus, or maybe not. Maybe they're just slow. Can you guys leave me a comment down below if you've bought from this company before and what your experience is with shipping? Use a little bit of blush, and I like to go in with a little bit of a thicker, fluffier brush. And I'm actually going to go in between the pink and the bronzer together. I just kind of go back and forth between the two, and then just lightly brush it on sort of the apples of my cheeks, because I'm going with a pretty low maintenance, easy look today. I don't want to go too overboard. I played around with this yesterday and that's how I knew I wanted to film with it today. But I'm going to actually take the bronzer in here and I'm going to use that on my crease and to kind of as a transition shade. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit of it in my fluffy blender brush. And I like the fact that this bronzer is more of a matte too. And I really like the fact that I think it just looks a little less contrived when you match your bronzer, contour, and your crease. I mean, honestly, it just becomes a really easy everyday look. No makeup, going to work kind of a thing. And I really just kind of kept this in my crease and above. I didn't really drag it down. Sometimes I do kind of like that whole V thing and kind of run the excess underneath my lash line. I didn't really do that this time. We're gonna use the olive color today, and I was actually really super surprised at how pretty this was. And it looks a little bit like a MAC pot, I think. And it comes really filled to the brim. And it's very soft, and I'm just gonna use my fingers and tap it onto my movable lid space. And I usually just kind of go down right along my lash line and then bring it up a little bit to kind of blend into that crease shade. Kind of a pretty shade of green. You guys know that I like kind of grungy greens anyway, but one of the things that I liked about this was that it's kind of a fresh sort of spring color. I'm gonna grab a little bit of an eyeliner here. Oh, you know what? I have an eyeliner. I had the eyeliner that I bought with this stuff. So we're just gonna try this really fast. The eyeliner actually went on much better this time. It reminds me a lot of the Urban Decay 24/7 Perversion, which I've been using a lot lately. And I'm gonna just use this. I think this is the Pretty Vulgar. I feel like this is just a really fresh, pretty look for either a fun daytime look, a weekend look, that kind of thing. I just feel like there's something almost brightening about it, a little bit unexpected. I was thrilled at how really pretty that eyeshadow was on and how flattering it really was. If you're okay with the individual shadows and you like the individual shadows, which I don't use a ton of the individual pots online. I probably should. I've got a bunch of the color individual ones. I've got some Ace Beauty ones. I don't know, I've got a few different ones. I can do a video of my individual favorites if you're at all interested. The Phoera, I don't know how to pronounce it, but this is the olive color in 110, and I really like it. So here's what I want to do, something I haven't done. I'm gonna actually take this mystery shade. It's not actually a mystery. It's the color. I know what color it is. It's not a mystery to me. It is, I think 114 maybe is the shade. Their website was a little weird ordering it directly off that because it didn't always match up with, the pictures didn't change when you pick the shadow that you were going to use. If you look at the pictures and the swatches, then you can tell what shade it is that you want. I really feel like this is just a beautiful, like a bronzy brown, I guess is what I'd call it. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on. So basically what I'm doing here is if I were to take a daytime look, maybe you're out of the farmer's market and you're having a good time and then you want to take it up really quickly to more of a date night, I might go in with a little bit of this mystery color and just kind of darken up my outer V. Just kind of smoke it up a little bit, you know? And it's a shimmer, so some people don't really care for shimmers on the outer part of your eye. I think you really have to kind of be okay with it. Now, it seems pretty dark right now, but when I swatched it on my hands yesterday, it buffed out really pretty, so we're gonna try that. So I'm just applying it right now to the outer V. Try to pack on as much of the pigment as I can next to my lash line, just right over the top of where I put that eyeliner. And then I always check to see kind of if it's high enough on my hood, since I do have that hooded lid situation. So as long as I feel like it goes in the same amount of distance on both sides of my eye, and that it's high enough on that hood to give me that kind of dramatic effect, then I know I can buff out the edges. And then I'm also going to drag a little bit on my lower lash line because I'm going for that smoky eye date night look. And we're just going to lightly buff out that top edge because I don't want it to be really severe. Anywhere there's kind of a seam between that and the other color, I'm just kind of trying to drag it over the top of it, maybe a little bit. Didn't put any on this brush. This is a clean brush. I'm just kind of smoothing out those raw edges. I don't know that I would do much more. Actually, you know what? I am. I'm going to take the highlighter in here, put a little bit more in the center right next to that tear duct. Then I'm going to drag a little bit down below and kind of meet up with that darker shade that I buffed in. Kind of bring a little bit more light to the center of my eyes. They did not send me any of the stuff in PR. I paid for it. I did get a little bit of a coupon code, but honestly, I buy most things with coupon codes. So if you guys decide to try any of this stuff and you do use my code, first of all, thank you. Second of all, I don't know what it does. I don't think they send me anything. I think they just give me discounts on future stuff. I think that's a pretty way to take that green, smoke it out, go to date night. I like the way that turned out. Right, so that's 2 looks down. I'm gonna take this off and I'm gonna come back with one more look, I think using the darker shade and more of this Naked palette, so I'll be right back. Okay, so now I'm gonna use, actually, I think I'm gonna use the, I actually am gonna use the bronzer again as kind of a crease sort of transition shade, and I'm just gonna use the same brush that I used earlier. And I do have that e.l.f. primer back on my lids. There's something so simple about using a bronzer on your lids, I think. Just simple and fast, and this Urban Decay one I think is actually a pretty good quality. I like the fact that this little palette has 3 different shades in it because it gives you a little bit more flexibility if you had to use something on your eyes, which we're doing today. Okay, so I've got my transition sort of crease shade in. I probably could go a little bit darker with it, honestly, but I'm going to use that darker color in here, and I don't want to get kind of overboard. I'm going to use the blush on the center of my lids, and this is pretty soft. And I'm just going subtle. I'm going to pick up some of that fallout here. I'm just putting it on the movable part of my lid. I haven't played with this as a look before, and I'm going all the way up to my crease. I kind of wanted to see how it would look. It's a pretty pink, if you like pink eyeshadow. I want to like pink eyeshadow, but I'm not sure that it's always super flattering on me. Okay, when your lid is damp, either from moisturizer or whatever else, and you can really pack on that color of that blush as an eyeshadow. Okay, I'm going to take the fluffy end of this brush and just sort of smooth out that top edge. And then I'm actually going to go back into the highlighter and brighten up that inner corner and drag it up to where I meet that pink blush on my lids. And we're going to go in with just the brush that I used for the bronzer, just to kind of buff out and take some of that stark white off. I like the way that looks, actually. I think that's super pretty. Now I'm going to take it very dramatic. And again, all I've used on my lid so far is this little complexion palette. Now I'm going to go in with this darker Phoera, like Pharaoh, but Phoera. I don't know. It's not from Egypt. So I'm going to go in with that same precision brush that I used last time, and I'm just going to do the same thing here. Again, keeping it towards the outer edge, packing it on closer to my lash line. Now I don't have any eyeliner on this time. I didn't go from a day look already to a nighttime look, so I will go back in with some eyeliner on top of it. But I'm going to drag this into where I want my crease to be, and I'm going in pretty light with this right now. I suppose I could darken it up, deepen up, richen up the color a little bit, but I like the way the shimmer is in it. I think it's actually kind of flattering. I like the flexibility of this face palette and then like another eyeshadow. Yesterday I think we were taking the dogs for a walk, and I felt like I just needed to put on a little something before we did that. And this was so fast when I did this with the green and the face palette that I was like, somebody else might get some benefit from this too. I feel like I need a little bit more of the pink on top to kind of blend into that darker color. So I'm going to use the fluffier brush this time in that blush and just kind of go over the top of where that seam is between the pink and the dark. Probably not the best blending situation in the world. I'm going to take a little bit more of that shadow just on my lower lash line. I'm going to go all the way in, or at least 2/3 the way in. And then I'm going to use that flat eyeshadow brush again in the blush and just put a little bit of it right underneath my lash line. You got to be careful with pinks up against the whites of your eyes because they can really bring out that red, can't it? I should probably put on some Visine before I do this. Okay, you guys, I feel like that's actually a really kind of fun smoky look. I'm going to use their eyeliner again. Again, this is a 12-hour eyeliner. I haven't done any kind of wear test on it. Maybe I should. Would you guys like that? All right, you guys, 3 looks with this Phoera. I'm going to call it Phoera. The foundation still looks good. It feels soft on my skin. It doesn't feel too terribly oily. I do feel like I've got a little tiny bit of shimmer underneath it, but frankly, I did that with the iconic London Illuminator as a primer. I'm going to take a little bit of this Laura Mercier setting powder. And of course, that has a little bit of luminescence to it as well. But I'm going all loomy today. Probably a little bit too much more shine than I needed to for a, I don't know, stay at home, work from home kind of a day. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think of this? Let me come in a little bit closer. I just thought it'd be fun to kind of go back to something super simple. So between the foundation, 2 eyeshadows to play with, and honestly, this tried and true Urban Decay face palette. Eyeshadow was perfect. The foundation I'm really, really impressed with. I think it still looks like skin. 3 different looks. This one doesn't have the green, but I absolutely loved that kind of gold shift to the green. I thought it was really pretty. This mystery shade I thought was great for darkening up either the green or any of the other colors in the palette. The eyeliner was my only thing that I'm like still kind of a little bit on the fence about. I felt like I wanted it to go on a little bit smoother. And I think initial application wise it did. But it's not as good as the Urban Decay Perversion. It's just, it's like it wants to be that, but it's not quite there. So that's my thought on that. I can't tell you enough. I'm actually really surprised on the foundation and the eyeshadows. 3 out of the 4 things I'm actually like, okay, I'll use this. I'll dip back into it. Anyway, you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever even heard of this brand, if you're at all interested in the brand, if you're a little bit nervous because it ships from China. We tend to overlook it a little bit. If you order it from Amazon, you might not pay attention to where it's shipping from. It comes from Walmart. Again, there's a lot of stuff from China from Walmart. I have not looked at Walmart, but I gotta be honest, I haven't been to Walmart in a couple months. Probably since initial coronavirus stuff started happening. I haven't been probably since maybe February, truth be told. Yeah, probably February. Probably February was, or early March at the latest. But for sure February, I'm sure, was probably the last time I went to Walmart. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe, please ring the bell. I don't always do this, new brands that I've never heard of, but I always try to do 3 looks. I usually do it with palettes. So if that interests you at all, I would love it if you guys become part of the family and subscribe and kind of give me some encouragement to keep going with this. Feeling this. Soft pink yet kind of smoky sort of look. I love the green. I can't believe how much I love that green. I hope everybody's doing well. Again, leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you think about this brand, how you feel about ordering things from China, if you have an opinion on that at all. If you don't feel like publicly posting it, you can always DM me over on Instagram, Sheli Tsunami. And until my next video, bye for now.